What's going on, guys? My name is Chris Holachuk, and this is another session of Hollow Sessions. And today's topic is don't quit your day job. Now, before you go rush off, I'm not saying give up on your dreams by any means. I'm still working towards mine. What I'm really saying is, you got to think smart when you're pursuing your dreams. There's a lot of artists, especially in music and country music, which is what I do, that will say, go all in, like don't have a plan B or backup plan, and just, give it your all, which yes, you should give it your all, but you definitely want to have something else going on, like especially if you're going to any industry that involves the arts of any sorts. You definitely want to have something stable, while you're pursuing that dream. And, I have a lot of friends, fellow musicians who maybe are lucky they have a wife or girlfriend that makes good money and they're able to put all their time into that dream and live a stable, happy life. And if that's a route you want to go, go out there, find a good girl who'll do that. There are plenty out there. But then, you got other people who they do give it their all, and, it is a struggle until you make it to a certain point. But a lot of people don't make it to that certain point alone. So they're constantly stuck in that struggle and grind. I've seen it plenty of times performing on Broadway. It's a lot of musicians who, they've been doing it for years. They're great. They got the crowd cheering and they're hustling every day. But at the same time, they drive cars that are dented up that they can't afford to have them fixed up because they're living, paycheck to paycheck, gig to gig. And it's a certain lifestyle that could go on for 10, 20 years before you find any kind of breakthrough. Or you can get stuck in that trap and never have a breakthrough. And that's why I'm glad I do have my day job. I used to get upset when haters would comment, "Oh, don't quit your day job, Bubba." Now I'm proud to have a day job because I've done that before where I've given it my all, like doing music full time, and I've lost a lot of money doing that. I've lost a lot of things I've built up trying to go all in. And it's not to say the dream should be given up by any means. No, if that's your life passion, you do it till the day you die. Just do it smartly. Like I've had a day job now for a while, and one thing I noticed compared to doing music full time is when you do music full time, it takes away the fun and creativity from doing the music. Music itself, it becomes a job, and you don't want to put in as much effort at that point because you're already like struggling to get by, and it's become a chore, and it's just not fun anymore. And these passions, they're supposed to be fun. They're supposed to be what makes you get up every morning and keeps you alive and breathing. So I feel like when you're doing that full time, it just takes that away. Now granted, it is possible, you get lucky, one of your songs goes viral or get picked up by a record label. Yeah, you can live a decent life. Although even when you get to that point though, it's not as it seems, to where you're living the high life, you're living in a mansion. Like, that's a very select few. Like, even let's say you get signed to a record label, same time, like they're going to take about 75-80% of your profit or from your masters, or owning your masters of your songs. Like once you're signed to them, like anything you release is theirs, and you get a small percentage. However, you got to pay that back. I saw an interview with Joey Roll. He was explaining that, like, they might front you $1 million, but all the tour buses, flights, and hotels, that's from that $1 million they fronted you. You got to pay that back, and that's paid back with that 20%. And he was saying that's being generous, saying you get 20% of your masters or your income from that. So it's you know, you got to have a lot of number one hits to actually start making profit from that. And you know, not every person that gets signed gets to the level that Joey Roll's at right now. So it's so much, and to get to that point to where you're signed to the label, it takes so much like work and effort. You know, I'm still at a point where I'm working, not necessarily working for a label or working to get to be with the label, although I used to want to get that point early on in my career. I realize now, you know, we're thankful to be living in a time now where you don't have to be signed to the label now to get your music out there. You know, you can do it yourself, and that's why I feel like having a day job helps. Like, you're making money elsewhere, and you're able to source, you're able to have a creative outlet, you know, with music or whatever, you know, as something to do when you're not working. It just makes it way more enjoyable, makes it something you look forward to. You know, if you really want it bad, you're still going to work towards that, even if you have a day job. And I feel like the day job helps get your music out there where you're not reliant on somebody else, like a label. That's what I've been doing for a while. Like, I've studied like Facebook advertising, and yes, that's putting money out there, but again, I have a job to where I'm able to afford to put that out, and I'm able to afford a house, a car, all that on my own. I don't have a wife or spouse to lean on, you know, when times get tough. I got to do it all myself. You know, having that day job really helps, and putting your time into that, but also, you know, making time for your music. Again, it's how bad do you want it? So I don't fully 100% agree with those artists who say don't have a plan B. I think you're setting yourself up for failure. And this is something my dad has taught me since I've been starting a music business. But, you know, I was hard-headed. I didn't want to listen. And through time, I realized what he was saying with that. And I realize now, you know, there's nothing shameful about having a day job. You know, you're providing for yourself, for your family. There's nothing shameful about that. And I feel like we get caught up in the ego sometimes, wanting to be famous. You know, you want to be in the spotlight, and you got to sit back and ask yourself, you know, what is the point of this? Why am I doing this? Am I doing this to get validation, or am I doing it because I really love it? That's something I've personally had to question myself too, and I'm thankful to be in the spot now where I'm actually enjoy doing it. You know, to be honest, in the beginning I was doing that for validation. You know, I didn't feel appreciated where I was at, and yeah, so I had to really like dig down deep, and you know, that's part of the reason why sometimes I've stepped away from music. I've done that. I fall in love with it again and remember the real reason why I'm doing it, because it brings me joy. It's what I was put on this earth to do. And now I'm finding myself recently making videos again on YouTube on my music channel, and it's bringing me so much joy doing that. It's my purpose, and I'm not playing as many live shows as I used to, but that's okay. Like, I'm able to make it work to where I can still do music and still have a day job where I'm traveling a bunch. And if anything, I enjoy doing online content a lot more than live shows. You know, being more introverted, it soothes my soul a lot better, getting myself out there and not having to be in those extreme social situations. Although I do enjoy the live shows at times for sure, but it added so much extra stress in my life when I was like revolving my life around playing live. And now that I'm focusing more on online content and doing live shows whenever it's convenient, it just made my life so much happier. But at the end of the day, it's all about what you want. You know, what brings you joy in your life, and how can you implement that thing that brings joy into your life into whatever situation you're in. And what's the smartest and most efficient but fulfilling way that you can do that? Ask yourself that and reflect on it, and you'll be surprised with the solutions you come up with. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you found any value in it, please do like and subscribe. Helps me get the message out to more and more people. With that being said, my name is Chris Holowchuk, and Holla is hollin' out.